Alright, boys. I'm going to try and give my opinion about these patch notes. I've had a little look at them. Just a little look at them. I haven't completely seen them totally. Haven't properly looked into every little nuance. But now is the time that is going to happen. So they're introducing a new map. They say here, something which you haven't seen before, specifically made to cater to 3v3, being bigger overall and allowing for more space. I mean, this is kind of what I said when I originally looked at the map. There's a lot of space in the middle, but I think we're yet to see how that's going to affect, a 3v3 match. It's something we haven't really seen before. In my opinion, it seems like you're going to be able to be punished a lot more if you stay in the middle, say, and you have a small jump like Pro, because you can't escape into Fog of War over a wall. So center orb control is going to be controlled, by... It's going to be a lot more punishing to get the orb. And that's something that would be interesting to, find out how good it is, how interesting it is. Shiva graphical update. Man, he looks buff as fuck. He looks like the grandfather that beat you, dude. And look at those sandals, too. Still running the socks with sandals. I respect that. He sticks to his guns. He's old as fuck. He doesn't care anymore, Like that they gave him a little bit of a red nose. Makes him look alcoholic. Nice and intimidating. This skin makes zero fucking sense in my opinion. But, I mean, I'm glad that they're mixing it up. Like, with, like fancy skins and shit. That's cool. It's a cool skin. Don't really get the relationship between it and Shifu, but it's a cool skin. I don't know the lore. Maybe a lore nerd can update me on that shit. Rewards. Yeah, you get rewards. Just saying that you get the Grand Champion money if you're in Grand Champion. Who cares? Teams who have played nothing previously and have stable data will now be closer to where they finished last season. That's great. I'm really glad that they've done that because why is Esmostar still in the game? I just thought of that. Anyway, teams who have played enough and previously have stable data. So that means if I make a new 2v2 team and last season I finished Grand Champion, I guess they'll put me in Diamond rather than Plat, which is great. It means I shit on noobs less, which no one enjoys. Just boring grinding. This is a good change overall. Round score differences will now have a slightly higher impact on visual rating change. Oh, great. So you can 3-0 and then you get more points. That's great. That's amazing. I'm so glad they've done that. It felt a little bit lacking before, if I'm honest. Increased rating gains to teams players which are far below their estimated skill. Great. This is good. When you're 3-0ing 25 games in a row in 3v3 and then you're still getting the same amount, that was pretty bad. Now they fixed that. That's great. New feature, win streak bonus. So this is something which I have a little bit of an opinion about. I'm a little concerned that this is going to have MMR inflation, just like Season 1. And they're going to end up scaling it back. What I'd recommend, instead of just removing it, once they realize that this is going to cause MMR inflation, I recommend that they add like a lose streak bonus as well, So if you lose 5 games in a row, you start losing more. I think that would be good. If you're gonna do it one way, why not do it the other way too? Like this is just basically saying everyone in Season 3 could get free champion if they get lucky. I mean, if mathematically this is always gonna, like, over a long period of time, you're always gonna get to champion if you play enough games. So it seems kind of, not sure about it. I'd rather have a lose streak as well, but player now has to complete one match before their quick placement position is revealed. I don't understand this change, I don't know what it means, so I have no comment on it. Stealth mechanic changes. So they're saying that it's a fun mechanic, but it's also frustrating. And they want to allow mind games and reduce the potential threat stealth exerts over large areas. So they're basically solving the problem of Croak stealths. Everyone on the enemy team jumps because they have no idea where Croak is. And they're making it more reactable. So when a champion enters stealth, the opposing team will have individual indicators that show approximately how close the stealth champion is to them. Colors go from yellow to orange to red based on distance. Full stealth abilities where the champion can attack from stealth will now enter cooldown as soon as the stealth effect ends, rather than immediately when the ability is used. So, you know, if you're a Croak now, you can run up close to someone, or reasonably close, and then, you know, that person is gonna, you know, walk away from you, probably, right? Like, anyone from orange who sees orange is gonna walk backwards until they see yellow. So this basically makes Croak stealth, reactable using movement, because of they haven't reverted the fading haste thing. So I have a hard time understanding how Croak is gonna ever land a stun if you can just walk backwards when you see orange. So yeah, I don't know what else to. Of course, I guess if these indicators are like yellow, if he's like this close, orange, red, then maybe he'll have time to get close to you. I mean, maybe Croak, the only time Croak stealths now is right next to an opponent. One thing I did think about for this is Lucy. Pretty big buff to Lucy. Like, she sees orange, she just throws the spell in the direction that Croak's walking. And an interesting point is, now that Croak has the fading haste, he has to walk in a straight line, otherwise he won't reach the person in time. So it's very easy to predict where he's coming from, so it's also very easy to react to. I'm not sure that this is the right change. It seems like a bit of a gutting. I personally would have liked to see a rework on Deceit and Jade's stealth jump, which were the frustrating aspects of stealth from my perspective. But maybe I don't understand this properly. I haven't seen it in game, so it could be different to how I'm thinking how it is. But if it is the same as how I think it is, then will be no more Croaks in any games. He'll be that weird gimmick character that, you know, that one guy plays, who like finds really weird shit to make it work. Hey, and something. So the Jumong rework. So this is a lot of stuff to go through. I guess we should start by putting in perspective like where Jumong is right now. Right now, Jumong has a lot of mobility, and a lot of damage. His biggest strength is his M1. Basically, if you land M1s on Jumong, you outtrade someone. And the way you beat Jumong right now is you rush him down before he gets 3 stacks. So just a really strong character that's focused on a large amount of damage and a large amount of mobility. So Seeker's Mark changed. No longer causes incapacitate when consumed. Instead, consuming Seeker's Mark will now heal you for 10 health. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, that's going to make it a lot easier to attack Jumong. Because at the moment, Jumong, if you go on him, he incaps you. And the Seeker's Mark lasts for like 2 billion years. So like, he's always going to land the incap unless you jump away from him. This kind of makes it easier to contest him close range for melees. So that's pretty good. Hunting Arrow, damage reduced, good. Cooldown reduced from 0.3 to 0.25. Oh shit, I need to... Excuse me. Fuck my ass. Reduced from 0.3 to 0.25. Whoa, okay. That's interesting. They made him shoot more arrows. Close cast duration between attacks reduced. Okay. Energy gain reduced from 9% to 8%. Okay. So he deals less damage, has more healing, less CC so far. Bless you. Thanks, Sir Mr. Kappa. I wouldn't mind Croak being dead. I don't know, man. I feel like, I mean, Croak is bad, but the reason he's bad wasn't stealth, it was deceit. The incap into stun combo was dominating competitive play and solo queue play. So I don't know why they took this approach, but I mean, maybe it's better than I think. Fire an arrow that bounces up to 3 times. Deals 6 damage, heals 6 for 6 health, and inflicts Seeker Mark on each hit. Wow! What? This is crazy. This seems really good. Hey, how you feel about the new patch? I feel like solo queue players will be happier. Competitively, we're just gonna have to find the new OP, you know? The new OP and abuse that. Like, that's generally how competitive seems to go. Like, Croak was the OP, everyone played Croak. Now I'm not so sure. Steady Shot updated, damage reduced from 30 to 28. It's probably Esmo. Everyone probably plays Esmo, honestly. I should ask Imoshen to play with me, dude. Imoshen, you need to play. You need to talk to, you need to play Esmo with you. Damage reduced from 30 to 28, can now consume Seeker's Mark. Okay, cool. So lots of healing. I started the main Esmo. Yeah, maining Esmo is a smart move for anyone who wants to play in the competitive scene right now. They didn't nerf him this patch, so. Seeker's our XM2 moved from XM1 and updated. I need to figure out what this is. I'm not sure what this is. Dash range reduced from 3.0 to 4. Can no longer consume Seeker's Mark. That's interesting. Imogen, I'm just saying that you main Esmo, dude. I'll. You got a 3v3 team, dude. Whoa, this is a big old nerf here. So deals less damage. Duration reduced. Snare effect reduced. Holy shit, this is dead. Inflicts Seeker's Mark on first hit. That's interesting. Cooldown reduced from 15 to 9. Okay. No longer has an energy cost. Oh, so it is Q. Oh, wow. They put his problem as R. Okay, so. Wow. So Jumong right now. This is cast time reduced, range reduced, duration increased. No longer triggered by breakable. Okay. Okay, so from this, looks like Jumong has way less damage, way more healing, and it can be tunneled way easier. It's gonna be a lot easier for melee characters to just shit on Jumong. And I mean, it's gonna be easy for anyone to kill him, really, and unless he heals himself. So, I guess the gameplay is more about, you know, self-healing to stay alive rather than mobility to stay alive, which is more fun for people because you get to whack him over and over again. You know, you get that smackerinos on the Jumong's face, which everyone loves. Alright, let's see these Battlerites. Steady Shot deals 2 bonus damage and stuns the enemy for 0.5 seconds. Interesting. That seems really good. Back arrow inflicts Seeker's Mark. Bleed debuff removed. Oh, wow. Okay, so they've made it so it inflicts the Seeker's Mark rather than having the heal over time. And then that's his healing. So these Battlerites seem good. You deal 25% increased damage to enemies caught in bear traps. This is really good. Be interesting. These Battlerites will seem really good. I'd like to find out which is the best. I don't know. Guided arrow hits into M1 hits, making him be able to out heal though. Yeah. It seems like he'll be able to heal a lot more. Steady Shot deals 6 bonus damage and knocks back target's hit. Bonus damage increased from 4 to 6. Okay, cool. I mean, it's about the same, right? Knocks back. Jumong's now lower than serious self-healing DPS. There's a lot about self-healing. I don't know how good it'd be. It'd probably be worse, honestly. Like, I'd be surprised if anyone plays him in competitive. But maybe this is like super good. Seems like he's really fragile now. I don't know if anyone else feels that. Rate of arrows inflicts Seeker's Mark on every hit. Oh, interesting. So you do like a lot of self-healing. We're down to Jumong, Sadwig. Deploy 1 additional bear trap. Holy shit, that looks like a fun build. 25% increased damage, 2 bear traps. Holy shit, dude. That'd be fun as hell. And then you like knock them into it with a knockback or something. Steady Shot heals you for an additional 10 bonus health from consuming Seeker's Mark. Okay. Black Arrow does 4 bonus damage. There's so much healing in his skin, that's actually disgusting. Yeah, it seems like they're like, oh, so, you know, the mobility stuff was unfun. Let's change mobility for healing and make it like as powerful. That seems like the kind of idea. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out because burst damage is a thing. But maybe like the Croak nerf, Basilisk nerf is gonna make it so it's less impactful. Consumer Seeker's Mark deals 3 bonus damage. Alright, honestly, I'm kind of, I can't really conceptualize all of this right now. It's like so much stuff changed. But it looks like there's a lot of fun builds. I think it's going to be Insane in 2s and Garbo in 3s. That makes a lot of sense to me. Like, healing, self-healing's really strong in 2s because it's harder to burst someone. So it's very possible that is the, that is the end result. Alright, overall, it looks like, they've made him a heal bot for himself. And he's going to be able to self-sustain, but not in the same way. And it's going to be pretty hard for him to play in 3s. They just fixed the bug. Cool. Stealth mechanic changes. So as well as the stealth mechanic changes, which is indicators on each individual person, he also has these interesting little thingy-majigs. Now enter cooldown when the invisibility effects ends. So this is a nerf. This means that it's going to be harder for people to... he's going to have less overall invisibility time. Because generally you wait for the full duration of the stealth. But it's gonna maybe this will change up his playstyle so that the only time you really stealth on someone and stun someone is when you stealth right next to them, which kind of ruins the whole mix-up thing that he has right now in stealth, where like you pretend to go for one person, then you go for the other. What if your enemy has 2 stealth champs? Is your screen full with indicators then? Yeah, maybe. Certainly possible. Cooldown reduced from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, so that's just compensating for this. But I think it's a net negative. Duration increased from 2.5 to 3.5. So, I mean, they increased the duration of the stealth, which means maybe that's gonna have some effect. I don't know. I don't know how good he's gonna be. Still, what if the stealth is just useless? Then this is useless too, you know. Fading haste now starts at 30% and lasts at 1%. So this is good. At least they did a slight change, but. I'm a little bit worried that this haste does fucking nothing. Because a fading haste is a lot worse than a flat movement speed buff. I think someone said to me that 30% compared to 15% is 1 step. The problem is he lands 1 in cap and you're dead. Yeah, that's terrible, but I'd say that was the fault of deceit, not the fault of stealth. Although don't get me wrong, stealth is quite frustrating to play against. Now a utility Battlerite increases camouflage duration by 1 second, so you get 1 second extra on the stealth. 4.5 second camouflage is insane in 3v3s. Yeah, but if the indicator shows when he's close to you or getting close to you, then you can just walk away from him. So, maybe this makes the gameplay just a lot harder to do. A lot more skill-based, and it's gonna be, better overall for the game. But to me, this seems like stealth is gonna be kind of bad. Like maybe you just stealth now to escape, and you don't stealth for damage or to land it. The indicator fucks Croak, let's be honest. Now you only have to use CDs when he's gonna attack. Yeah, right now, I mean, stealth, Croak stealths, and then everyone just throws all of their cooldowns out, It doesn't matter. You can just stand still and they do the same thing. Which is what they wanted to get rid of, I guess, but it seems like they've also got rid of the ability to stun just one person. But I'd have to see it in game. And I don't know anything about it yet, I'm just guessing, and I have to see the distances. I have to play it to fully know. But it seems like Croak's gonna be a lot worse. Croaks will start indicator baiting you. The thing is, Sadwig, when it goes orange, you can just walk away rather than using your jump, because Croak isn't gonna have the speed anymore, or the flat speed. So you know that you know that like he isn't gonna be able to reach you if you just walk backwards. They can bait but can't really follow up. Yeah, I mean maybe noobs will just like jump straight away as soon as they see orange, but I think good players are gonna learn to just walk away. I have no idea how the indicator. Yeah, it's hard to know. Yeah, I think Imoshen's right. It might be a low healer thing. But I mean, it depends, if these indicators are really small, then hey, like, maybe there's no difference at all, and this is kind of just like a visibility tweak or something. So Freya knockback against targets with static removed. Great. That's good. That was just really annoying. And no longer grab pellets in the air. Yeah, this is like a weird inconsistent thing that happens sometimes, so I'm glad this is gone, I guess. Looks green, orange, and red. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the distance, right? Because if it's orange when he's like one step away from you, and red when he's standing on top of you, then that's not much of a change. Like, you can still stun someone with that. But if it's orange when he's, you know, 10 meters away, and red when he's like 3 steps away, then no one's gonna be hit by a stun. I guess there's a bit of a balance, they have to figure it out. Freya changes are spot on. Yeah, I'm glad that they've done these changes. This is just annoying. So she's getting the same treatment as Croak, apart from she doesn't have a reduced cooldown on the stealth, which is interesting. And it doesn't seem to last longer. So Jade's a little bit gutted. I guess because she has that jump on stealth. Looks like Jade's a little fucked. Lucy. Okay, so they increase the radius of the clarity potion. Oh yeah, one thing about the stealth indicators is that, again, if you're playing against Lucy, if you're Lucy playing against Croak, and Croak's walking towards you in stealth and you see him orange, you can just throw your dispel potion out, and you're going to dispel the stealth. Same with Iva. You can just throw your E, and it's going to dispel the stealth. So, I mean, Lucy and Iva are going to be incredible against stealth heroes, because they can dispel the stealth just based on the indicator now. So that's interesting. Indicator's huge though, yeah, absolutely. Alder has been very prominent recently. We have reduced burst damage output and granted additional counterplay opportunities. It's not that easy to dispel stealth on either. Well, the thing that I was saying, Sadtwig, is that because Croak has less movement speed, it's fairly obvious that, well, normally Croak has to walk in a flat, straight direction towards you to be able to reach you by the time his stealth ends. So you can predict where he's gonna be. But maybe with the increased stealth duration and the increased fading haste, that's gonna be a lot harder to do. And if that is the case, then yeah, Iva's gonna be worse. But I still think the same thing applies to Lucy. The indicator goes red right before he enters the stun range. The champ is dead. If it goes red earlier, when he's like 3 or 4 steps away, then he might still be good. Oh, I see what you mean, Emission. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so if it goes red when you like walk right next to them, then you can just like walk next to them and then walk away, just to fuck with them. All this still is bound neutral position, but Croak can just insta deceit you after jumping in. The thing is, Sadtwig, if Croak jumps next to you and then deceits, and then the indicator is red, then you're probably gonna jump. He only gets 1 cooldown then instead of like 5. But maybe, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe it's more of like a punish thing now. So after someone's used their jump, then Croak jumps in and then deceits. But I guess the question is, how are you gonna get that cooldown without deceit? You know, I think Sadtwig is good to be saying things like this, because there's definitely another side to these Croak changes, which are like Croak can definitely still be good if you figure out how to play him again. I think the old playstyle is definitely gone though, at least to a certain degree. So quicksand damage reduced from 18 to 16. Interesting. Good. I'm glad they nerfed it. It seems like a weird thing to nerf, but I guess they're just reducing his damage. And no longer hit targets through walls. Okay. No longer petrifies on hit. Instead applies a debuff which inflicts petrify after a 1-second delay. So this makes Alder pretty bad. It makes him a lot worse. The petrify was incredible. And now it's kind of terrible, because you petrify someone, then they just jump instead of getting hit by the petrify. And if your teammate's got a dispel, then they're able to instantly dispel it because they can see it's going to apply after 1 second. Alder was really popular. Seems like they've hit something which was, one of his best tools. Alder's going to be worse now. I'd be surprised if I see much Alder in competitive. It seems like he's more of a niche pick now, where you won the X bubble, say against Jade or something, and that's when you pick him. I'm not really sure when else, he's going to be that good. Alder needed that nerf so badly. Yeah, Alder was really getting impressive. Petra is great to follow up burst combos now though. Oh, that's interesting thought, yeah. So like you stun someone, burst them like crazy, petrify them, and then they get damaged a lot during the stun, and as soon as the stun ends, they get petrified. That's true. This gives a lot of interesting interactions. So this could actually be... It's probably going to be a nerf, but it's also going to make the gameplay for Pet Older more interesting. Because you're going to be able to do fun little things with it. Like, I like that this increases the skill cap. I'm glad to accept that. So Pestilus, looks like there isn't going to be much here, which increases his skill cap. Looks like these are all just net fucking nerfs. Damage reduced, healing reduced, self-healing reduced, moth duration increased, damage increased. Okay, so they made his M1 much worse, like on par with Paloma's M1. And that's a good thing. Pestilus' M1 was absolutely ridiculous before, in my opinion. And I'm glad that they've nerfed it. Self-healing increased, self-healing increased, self-healing. I guess I did say self-healing increased. Oh. I thought it said decreased. Hey, no need to call me a fool, man. I've been reading patch notes for like 10 minutes now, man. Okay, that's cool. So they increased the self-healing, but reduced the damage and healing. I think he's a lot worse now, because he has less damage. You bozo! I guess the self-healing increase is interesting. I'm not sure how much that is going to do, but I guess it means that he's going to be able to sustain for longer. I still think he's worse overall, because before you could just spam M1s and just out-damage everyone. Seems like they're putting him into a nice, more like niche spot, a bit like Older, where, you know, he's going to be good at the thing he does, but he's not going to be just best because he has good numbers. So I think that's good. I like that they increased the Bloodsucker damage and healing. I think that's a nice little change. I don't understand why it was 28 before. I think we'll have to see where Pestilus goes. I think he's still playable, sure, but he's not so, like, must-pick anymore. He was kind of must-pick before. Okay, now Raygon. I've been heard some rumblings from my chat. This guy's pretty nerfed. So base healing reduced on his M2 from 11 to 9. Healing per charge reduced from 3 to 2. So they've reduced his healing on his M2, which is it was a lot of healing. So I guess that's good. That's a lot of less healing. Dragon Palm lowers 10 bonus damage when knocking enemies into walls. Stun on wall impact removed. So Raygon is terrible now. No one should play Raygon. The reason Raygon was good was because of his R on round 3. I don't know. That seems really... I'm not sure why... Like, that's really gutted him, honestly. What I would have done, rather than doing this, I would have just reworked the Battlerite, which let you cast 2 Rs. I'm not sure why you'd get rid of the ability completely. Like, the R is fine, was fine before round 3. So... I don't know. Now removes the movement speed penalty during parry. Only triggers when the duration of parry runs out. We're not triggered by cancel casting. So this was the change which I thought was good and that they should have done. I'm not sure why they would do this change and this change. I think if you just got rid of this change and replaced it with a Battlerite change, that would have been better. I think he's in a much worse spot now. But I'm glad this has happened because it was really unfun playing against the double R thing. I do think this is good. I guess this is good. Not sure about this. Raygon's a lot worse. No one's... I don't think anyone's going to be playing Raygon anymore. That much. Wait, so you can deal 36 damage with Double Dragon Palm now? Yeah, seems that way. Seems like you deal a lot of damage with your R now. The repulse change is the worst ever, even worse than the R change. No way that repulse change is good. Should have just been able to recast on successful parry. Yeah, I think that was an interesting change that they should have done. Evan said that repulse should only trigger when something hits the counter. Yeah, I mean, the Raygon thing where you could just like hit your parry and then quick cast the stun afterwards was bullshit, honestly. It made it so his parry had no counterplay. You could just hit parry and then hit the stun, and your stun would always hit unless they jumped away or something. I'm glad that they've nerfed it. I'm not sure if this was the right way to nerf it, but the reason I was saying it was good was because they nerfed it. I do actually agree that it should have been on successful counter hit. I think that's a smart way to go about it. But I'm just glad it's gone because it was terrible. Ultra Pulse teach you to use parry wrong. I agree with Sadwig. I think that the old way you used parry wasn't the way you should use the parry. Didn't really make sense. But this is really gutted, Raygon. I don't think many people are gonna play Raygon anymore, apart from, you know, those try hard, die hard mains. This one teaches you the wrong way too. What do you mean, Imoshen? Teaches you not to cancel it. Oh, you're right. You're right. That's true. It is teaching not to cancel it, and cancelling is an important part of the game. Teaches you to get value out of the reflect, not just PB AoE stun. Sadwig's also right. The just quick cast AoE stun was really strange. Some weird balancing lately. I mean, we'll have to see how it turns out, but I mean, most of these changes are a little bit confusing to me. I think Raygon, I mean, maybe he still has his place somehow. The parry is still an interesting ability, which has interesting uses. The R, I mean, the double stun was super oppressive. I'm glad that's gone. And the healing was a little bit too good, and I'm glad that's gone as well. Against good players, you're only going to get value out of parry for the first 0.5 seconds. I like some of these changes a lot. I really hate some of them. It's so weird. Yeah, I'm not sure. I kind of feel the same way about Pearl. They're kind of changing things about Pearl, which I don't really understand. And I'm guessing the reason for that is they didn't have very many competitive Pearl players in the testing. I mean, who knows? I'm guessing that, like, people say, you know, people in the test group are like, Raygon is really oppressive and sucks, and they're like, oh, okay, we'll change his R, we'll change his parry. There's a lot of people doing those little happy faces. Oh no, I'm not good. This forces you into never cancelling your parry. I don't understand it. Yeah, it's strange. I definitely think cancelling should have been a thing. Alright, Shifu. So, looks like they buffed Shifu because he was too bad before. They've reduced the Fleetfoot cooldown. Reduced the X Fleetfoot cooldown. And increased the duration. Increased the healing on his counter. Increased the radius of his counter hit. Holy shit. There's 0 players in the council, the main and test Pearl or Raygon. Oh, wow. Fixed the bug where Shifu can't jump towards the stand close to them. Damage increased from 10 to 12. You know, here's some 14 when you hit an enemy with special. So they've given him more self-healing. I think this is going to bring Shifu back into a good spot. He's going to be the new Raygon, I think, where everyone just plays Shifu. Basically, Shifu's a counter bot now. Yeah, they made Shifu super good on his counter. They put a lot of power into his counter, and they've also made his Battlerite super good with the counter. I think we're going to see a lot more Shifu. Shifu seems really good now. He's got more self-healing. Overall, these changes are a big buff. So Varesh changes. Varesh was in a pretty bad spot before. Same way Shifu was in a pretty bad spot before. Shifu's card is now absolutely terrifying again. I agree. No? They nerfed Conjure again, didn't they? I thought he didn't have a heal on his Conjure before. Hey, Bedroll. Now it's a heal on hitting after countering. The Battlerite is a heal after you hit. The Conjure's a heal when you hit counter. Are you lower than usual? I can increase the volume. That's what I'm going to say. Oh, I see. Cool. So they made the XM2 damage increased. I'm glad they increased this. Everyone was saying that this XM2 was kind of bad. They didn't really use it. Glad they changed it. Wuju now knocks enemies back when reappearing. This is really good. I think Varesh is going to be a really good spot now with this change. And the duration before reappearing reduced. So this makes his Q a lot better. Lets you use it a lot more aggressively. And defensively, I guess. Varesh now consumes Corruption Judgment. This is really good. Interesting change. Gonna add a lot of fun to the game. Then use the XE with the things. With the Corruption and Judgment. That's great. Reform Remain into Kinetic Energy. Dash forward in target direction and spawn a Shadow Charge at the position of each enemy you pass through. What's this? What's this? I don't know what this is. I just complained about hand and punishment and using devastation right, and here it is fixed. Yeah, looks like they've made a lot of nice changes to Varesh. I'm happy about these changes. I don't understand the R change. I'll have to see it in game, I guess. But he seems a lot better now. People are going to play him a lot more, I think. It's going to go back to Varesh meta. Looking for a Varesh player for my competitive team. And then we just got some general updates and fixes. Fix the bug causing ability tools to show from blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Just a bunch of stuff. Nobody care. So let's do an overall review of what's happened now that we've talked about it a lot. They've added a new map. Shiva has a new model and a new skin. They've made it so it's easier to climb rating, and the rating is more balanced when you start new teams and if you're winning a lot. They've made stealth have indicators so you know how close they are to you. So it looks like they've sort of made stealth a lot worse, but it's hard to know yet. It could still have just change the playstyle and still be okay. They've switched Jumong's power from mobility and avoidance to self-healing. Let's say he's going to be really good in 2v2 and solo queue. Going to be hard to damage him if you don't burst him. They've changed Croak so that to accommodate the new stealth changes, so he has longer stealth. They've removed the knockback on Freya's M1, so she's less annoying. They've nerfed Jade because they haven't increased her stealth durations or anything like that. They've increased the radius of Lucy, but not really much has happened. They nerfed Alder, but made it more interesting by making the Pouch fight after a 1 second delay. They've nerfed Pestilus' damage, but given him more self-healing, which I think is a net nerf. They've nerfed Raygon's R and his parry, which makes Raygon a lot worse. And they've buffed Shifu's self-healing and immaterial. And they've also made Varesh better in a lot of ways. So, in an even more condensed version, Varesh good, Shifu good, Raygon bad, Pestilus bad, Alder bad, Lucy good, Jade bad, Freya bad, Croak bad, and Jumong good, Flash bad, new stuff. Alright boys, that's going to be it for the patch review. We're going to get down to playing the game now. See you in a bit.